Hey everyone, I am Dove Hotep. I am the goddess astrologer and master soul coach. We are going to get into the Scorpio new moon, really powerful time that we are in. Thank you for the Scorpio energy and the Scorpio season. It is a relief to that Libra air south node that we are going through until January of 2025. Pluto's turned direct. We have a lot happening with the planets, and Saturn has turned direct, so a lot of movement, and a lot is shifting. So we're going to talk about big awakening that's happening on the planet. Let's go into the chart for this new moon. And if you don't know, if you haven't been here before, part one, we're going to get deep into the astrology for this new moon, and then in part two, I do all of your sun sign horoscopes and oracle card readings, and you will understand that better, and it will be more profound and powerful for you if you watch part one. Also, if you have not got my Understand Your Astrology free mini course, go to my website. You can click the link below this video too. Go to my website, empoweredwomenrise.com, and you can get that free mini course right now. I have if you've been wanting to learn your chart deeper and understand, like, what I'm talking about, the new moon being in Scorpio, if you want to understand where Scorpio is in your chart, if you want to really understand your 10 planets by house and sign and start to really get to know yourself through your chart, go to my website and download that free course. It will be so much fun to dig into that. So let's share this chart with you. And this is happening on November 13th, on Monday. And it's happening early. It's happening in the morning at 3:27 a.m. Central Time, so just for your time zone. And it's a Scorpio new moon. A new moon is always a conjunction between the sun and the moon. And we have the stellium in Scorpio, but at the time of this, at this new moon, Mercury will have moved through Scorpio and has moved out. But while Mercury has been in Scorpio, it's been helping us to get to the root, to get to the core of what's been going on. It's been helping our minds to understand underneath, to understand all the emotional things that we've been needing to process with too much air, with the south node Libra that we've been going through. I mean, you might think we have all this water with Saturn in Pisces, the ruler of that, Neptune at home in Pisces, but we really haven't. We have had, the planets going through Virgo there for a while, very analytical and internal, constant processing internally, and then this Libra. And so it's just, it's just too much examination in the mind, constantly. And we have to pay attention to that, because it can be really easy to try to think and intellectualize and examine everything from a distance and examine your emotions rather than feel them. And so at the time of this new moon, Mercury has moved out. Saturn has turned direct on the 4th of November. And so Saturn is going to start moving forward now, and has been here for a while, retrograding from that 7-degree mark until 0 degrees. And so this is great. Like, Saturn has given us this forward momentum. But the Scorpio energy, the Scorpio season has been wonderful. It's been breaking us open to finally process emotionally all of the deep emotions that have been stuck, and we've been stuck in our minds, and we haven't been really having access to actually release them and work with them so much more fluidly. So I found the Scorpio season to be a miracle. I'll tell you, like, I love Scorpio like I never have before. What a relief all the Scorpio energy has been. But Scorpio is also, every sign has its shadow and light. And so, and if you want to study with me and really understand this deeply, understand the 12 signs deeply, I'm doing a healing through the zodiac class coming up. And And you can study with me each month in that class, and it is not very expensive. So if you want to find out about it, go download that mini course and you will be notified. You will get the email about it and be able to come join us there. Usually it's just like such a great group of women who are really deeply committed to their journey and moving forward and like living in breakthrough basically, and really healing the shadow. And we really have powerful shifts. I ran an astrology class earlier this year, at the beginning of the year, from January to April, and there was a ton of people that joined, but there was a core group of us that showed up week after week after week, and everyone got such massive breakthroughs and transformation through their astrology. So powerful. So getting to this Scorpio, it's this new moon, it's ruled by Mars and Pluto. And so we have Pluto in Capricorn. Pluto's direct. It's moving through the last degrees of Capricorn. So where's Capricorn in your chart? For me, it's in the 11th house. Like, I can't wait till Pluto gets out of Capricorn. Anything about Pluto in the 11th house is you have very few friends. Like, you might have a very deep friendships, but you have few of them. You don't have 10. You have like 3. And you might know a handful of people, but it has been like really challenging, but it has completely transformed my life when it comes to people and groups and friendships and relationships, and that, that reclamation of power from the way the overculture does everything. So it's been huge, but I'm ready for it to move out. So it's interesting, like, where do you guys have Capricorn in your chart? I will tell you, we've had this long running square to the nodes from Pluto. We've been dealing with this energy all year round. This Pluto and Capricorn has been a 15-year transit since 2008. And so Pluto is finalizing a lot of the learning that we're meant to do, of where it's transiting in our own chart, in our own lives, and in the collective. It's been revealing, Pluto reveals, Pluto uncovers and unearths the secrets. It shows where the subconscious issues are. It shows where the patterns are. It shows where evolution is needed. And so it's been showing us all of the structures that don't work, the industrial education system, the complex, the industrial pharmaceutical complex, the industrial insurance complex. We've shown how all of the structures that have been the way society has functioned has been run by narcissists, psychopaths, and sociopaths, and is not working, and does not care about life or people or diversity or unity or any of the higher value systems of those of us that are awake and are of the lights, and so on. And there's a whole population of people that are just sleeping, and they'll be swayed either way. And so it's why it's so important to get out there and do your big work, right? And so if we look at Mars and this Mars infused new moon, Mars is our energy to go act upon our desires, our energy to go make things happen. It is our actual doing things in the world. And so with this Mars energy in Scorpio, you could be really acting on the deep subconscious level. You could really be acting on a deep subconscious level. You could really be acting out from your subconscious wound, subconscious programming, subconscious, fear of betrayal, fear of abandonment, past life stuff that you don't even know is there, that wears other costumes, but you're acting upon it because it's Scorpio. Also, it's, what are the base desires? And so this new moon is very much about this opportunity for deep transformation, because it's opposite Uranus. Uranus is in Taurus. It's retrograded back to this 21-degree mark. It's been sitting here for a minute. And it's opposite Uranus. Uranus is an awakener. A lot of people say Uranus is a disruptor, but what is awakening but a disruption to the old reality you thought was the truth, right? And so awakening is waking out of all the spells and programming. And I'm just gonna Uranus disrupts to never without a purpose. It's always about greater liberation, greater freedom. And so many people don't understand the freedom that they don't have because they don't have any contrast to it. They're habituated to work, life, sleep, entertainment cycle. They're habituated to the program of you go to school, then you get a career, then you have the family, then you retire, and then you're dead. You know, they're habituated to that like dysfunction has been normalized for the greater whole of society by the overculture. And so people don't have the contrast to know that there is another way, and that they're not having a joyful life, they're not having an adventure life, there is another way to live. And so that they don't have freedom. Like, people don't even know that they're enslaved. You know, most people in this society do not know that they are living in a sexually depraved society, that it's around us everywhere, and that we are not sexually liberated and sexually free. When women have been free and liberated in the past, whether it was in Paleolithic and Neolithic times, which was not primitive times, by the way, we just got to be really clear about the goddess culture times. 100,000 year period of time was not primitive people. They were very advanced and wise people, and they lived in equality. Fear was nearly eradicated. That's where all of our modern technology comes from. Paved roads, indoor plumbing, architecture comes from the goddess culture era. And then other times when women got out of domestication and got out of in such intense suppression, we would have sexual liberation for a while. But notice when women are not free and women are suppressed, or the feminine is suppressed, we don't have sexual liberation. And most people do not realize it because they've only seen one version of sex. It's perpetuated in movies, it's perpetuated in all of these places in the world. Sex should be a celebration, and it's just a form of energy. But yet humans have so many taboos and hangups, and when something is suppressed, then it is perverted, and it gets perverted. So this is what I mean by people don't necessarily know where they are not free. And that's why it can be so feeling destructive, or so much like a breakdown, when like, you know, the energies at hand are trying to break you through to another way. And so this new moon, I'm telling you that leading up to this and for a while after this, you can expect there to be like an en masse awakening around the planet. While people are awakening all the time, there's these pockets where all of a sudden a ton of people wake up in a group, like at the same time, in a you know, within a month's period or within a time span. It was like in 2020, it was a big awakening. 87, you know, the Great Convergence is a big awakening. 2012 was a big awakening. And so there were these benchmarks where we know that we've had en masse awakening, we've had group awakening. And so this is another time, because we have Uranus opposite this new moon. We have this new moon in the sign of transformation. And we have these biquintiles from Chiron to this new moon, which is about this provocation, this creativity, this provocation and creativity that is saying, hey, the wound, Chiron, it's time for this to heal. It's time for us to evolve beyond it. It's time for us to stop living from the wound and thinking that is, you know, like, we're just habituated to so much dysfunction, reality TV, and people screaming at each other all the time, and social conflict all the time. People act like it's normal. Superiority complexes, people conflate that with confidence, you know, and it's like, so much of the world is changing. So many people are doing the healing. So many people have woken up. So many people are leading. So many people are not letting themselves spin out in imposter syndrome and letting their brain indulge in thoughts that don't help them. I mean, this is such an amazing world today where you can go get coached. You can go to a coach and get coached, and you can change your life. Like, this is an amazing world where there's finally the answers to how to heal. There's finally the answers to how do I deal with this past life stuff. This is what I do with clients in one-on-one coaching and in my monthly group coaching, is like, we heal past life shit. Like, you have, the reason you have any issues is because of either the patterns that are repeating in this life because of what happened in past lives and that karmic momentum, or because of directly the karmic momentum from past lives. And the other reason is because you have the evolutionary intention to grow. And so these challenges allow you to grow in this way. So those are the only reasons you have any issues that you have. And so it's like, how do we resolve them? Very easily. We have the answers now. And so I love this world today. I love life where I can go get coached and transform my life. Like, I live in breakthrough, and I keep my clients in breakthrough, and I love coaching my clients. And this is such an amazing world today. This is the world where you get to live the adventure. You get to have the life you really dream of. You get to make your dreams a reality. Like, stop living in this Pisces fantasy land of all this Saturn and Neptune energy. When Neptune bumps out of Pisces into Aries, the whole world is going to wake up from having been in this delusion, having been in this fantasy, this idealized version of the world, this like virtual reality world since 2012, where we've been like really fogged out by the fantasy, romanticizing things. Like, so many, especially 20 somethings, like, come with the whole twin flame thing. And it's like, y'all, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. There is no twin flames. One of my teachers, 30,000 astrology charts they've done. Just think about how many you could do in a year. 30,000 astrology consultations they have done, and they found one case of it ever, and those people were bored to death of each other. It's not common. It is rare. When we say rare, we're talking like 0.0000000 like percent. It's like, it's been a fantasy that's been sold to people with the rom-coms and the Disney movies and the like victim villain savior complex. All that shit's been sold to people of this false idea of relationships and love and all these things that gets people into so much spiritual trouble and into these patterns that don't help and serve us. And so we have this opportunity to really like look around you in your life at how many people seem to be like waking up, having breakthroughs, having greater revelations, and how many people are like having spiritual awakening right now. It's going to be huge. And Lilith here in Leo, the light of the feminine, the joy of the feminine, and the self belief, like taking your will to create your destiny. Women no longer allowing for unequal partnership, which is what Lilith is all about, and Leo is all about taking your own will to create your destiny. And so it's square this new moon, and so it's challenging people to not hang out in the subconscious wounds and all the fear of changing, because Scorpio can be the fear of changing. It can be the fear. It can be like wanting the transformation and then just so afraid to do it. Scorpio is the cutting away Mars, or the destruction Pluto. It hides, but the higher expression of Scorpio is the healer. And it's about healing all of that stuff, because the transformation, when you feel your emotions all the way through, you'll get the transformation on the other side. You get the transformation on the other side. You get the gift of all of the pain, loss, and challenge that you've been through. You get the gift of it. You don't go through that stuff for nothing, but many of you are not getting the gift on the other side. because people say to me a lot that you're afraid that it's going to be heavy to do the healing work, that you're afraid that you're going to get stuck there, and that you don't believe you're really going to get the result of healing completely. And I'll tell you, I've healed from sexual abuse. I've healed from narcissistic abuse. I've healed from spiritual abuse. I've healed from past life trauma, being killed in past lives, murdered, being exiled, being imprisoned. I had a past life where I was in prison, like in my 20s until I was an old woman. Crazy. I was just pushed off a cliff in another past life. I had a lover kill me in another past life because he went crazy. And so he like killed me and then committed suicide. And he was like feeling so guilty. He was hanging around me for in this life. And I had to like send him off on his way and like do a lot of work on it. And I didn't know he was there for years. And you know, it's like all of the stuff that I've healed from, I'll tell you, I will tell you that you can heal completely. I'm an example of what's possible that you can heal. I don't know very many people that have been through all of the shit that I've been through in my life, and I've been through it for a reason, so I could help people heal. And I'm telling you, like, it's fun to do this work because you actually start to see how capable you are. You start to see your own gifts, your own talents, your own magic. And that's what Scorpio is. Scorpio is a metaphysical realm of magic and of the mystical and the spiritual and the metaphysical. It is a fun realm to play in. And so you get to alchemize all of the difficulties into your PhD for your big light, for doing your calling in this world. Like, what is your calling? You know, you're meant to change the world in some way. And we must, all of us, stand up, because all of us together are changing from that old age of darkness that we're moving out of into this new age of light. But it's going to take all of us doing our work. The only people you're ever scared of what they think are the superior people with superiority complexes, the people that are pushing like Hollywood and all that kind of stuff, that are pushing like, you know, cars and money and the materialistic life, and are pushing, you know, like status. And the people, those are narcissists, psychopaths, and sociopaths, and people with very damaged egos. Those aren't creators who have big lights. People that are creators are just creating and having fun with life and making money, and you know, they do the inner work and they don't have all this drama, and they're not caught up in status. You know, they're not posting a picture to be like, look at my status. They don't have to prove anything. But I see so many people posting pictures on, you know, on their feeds of like their boobs, and you know, I look hot today. You know, it's like can you feel good about yourself without doing that? Or do you have to do that to feel good about yourself? This is all Scorpio stuff. Scorpio is a deep psychology, the deep inner psychology. Why do we behave the way we behave? Why do we do what we do? And it's always because of an emotion. And those emotions are usually subconscious, Scorpio, very deeply subconscious. And so you have these biquintiles to Chiron, helping us with the spiritual higher flow creativity energy to understand our inner world and not be scared of going in, and to transform that stuff, transmute that stuff. Scorpio is about transmutation. It's about metamorphosis. Like, transformation and metamorphosis are actually like two different things. You know, metamorphosis is something into something completely different. So if you think about your future self and where you want to be, and like who do you want to be in the future? Like, what do you dream you're doing? How do you feel? What are you wearing? What activities are you doing in your life? Are you having fun? Are you going on adventures? Are you traveling? What is your work life like? Do you love it? Or are you just so full and fully resourced, and you're doing the things you need to do for yourself? Like, I'm an athlete, so I need body work as like to keep my muscles functioning well together. Like, you know, that to me is like dream life, right? And so it's like, what kind of things like that for you is it that your life is? So think about your future self, and like, you got to make her proud. You got to do what you got to do now for her. You got to do the healing work for her. You got to get into your psyche and say, man, I don't want to carry this like fear of betrayal and fear of being vulnerable around with me anymore. and calling it joy. You know, I know a woman who's calling fear of being vulnerable joy, and she's spiritually bypassing, and she's just working 10 jobs and like, I'm so happy and I'm high in the spiritual ecstasy, but she's actually just keeping herself so busy that she never has to get quiet and listen to what's really going on in there. And so we don't want to spiritually bypass. So many of you think positive thinking is mindset work. That is not doing thought work. That's not managing your brain. That is spiritual bypass. And so this is a powerful time of metamorphosis, of transmutation, of taking what we are done with. We like are ready to grow now. We are ready to have fun and live in breakthrough. Like, just think about living in breakthrough, because, you know, I work with soulpreneurs. So those of you who are spiritual business owners, whether it's just that you do something that maybe not be seen spiritual, and you are, you know, infuse your whole life with the fact that you are a spiritual being and come from that, you know, worldview, and etc. Or if you're doing like a literal spiritual business of like being a Reiki master or something like that, or, you know, the work I do, etc., then, you know, you want to be able to have marketing copy and to write emails and to talk to your people and do reels and get on social media and to build your platform and to speak about things. Well, when you live in breakthrough, you will have endless content to speak about. And so something to be aware of with this new moon is that we do have Neptune trine it. And, you know, Neptune is, you know, is retrograding. You know, this new moon is in an applying trine. And so we want to be aware that Neptune, you know, trine is a harmonious aspect, but with Neptune, it can go either way. It depends on the person. So you could just like see where you're being asked to grow, or where you could awaken. Uranus pushing on this new moon, like directly in opposition, and be like, I want to go back into the fantasy. And I went back into the fantasy before. I had a chance to pop out of it, but I'll tell you, like, my psyche knew I would either go crazy or go back into the fantasy until it was safer to get out. Sometimes that's what people choose, but I'd never consciously make that decision. It wasn't conscious. It was like my soul knew to do that, but it wasn't a conscious decision. But if you have a conscious decision, I would not go back into the fantasy or the idealization. Neptune can be the idealized version of life, the romanticized version of life, like soulmate loves and stuff. When you have sparks flying off, you probably got a narcissist on your hands, love bombing you. Like real true people that are connected, that are meant to like have this like deep and profound relationship in this life. It's different. It feels different. It's a soul, deep depth, heart connection. It's not fireworks. That is like panting tomcat bullshit. That's just lust. That's not an infatuation and like past life karmic momentum and stuff. That's not the soul connection. I'm telling you. It took me having a lot of experiences to really get it, because that's the only way our soul learns, is to experience. And so you got to go get experiences to really understand these things. That is true wisdom. So with this trine to Neptune, you know, it could be people like just wanting to be virtual reality'd out and not like feeling like they can handle it yet, or subconsciously just pushing it away, buffering, etc. Or this could be this impulse to come over to the light and to start living from soul, and this complete awakening to soul, to like, oh my God, I'm a soul. I'm not just that program from the overculture of like families, you know, family and you know, have a career and then die. Like, what is that? You know, that's just those are certain options you could do in life. You got to always look at the 12 signs in the whole. You know, family is Cancer. It's just one area of life you could master and do. like I've had kids in past lives and stuff. I don't want to have a kid in this life. I don't feel called to it. I want to go adventure and just have so many adventures and so much fun and explore this world and jump out of planes and do crazy shit. I don't want to be tied up on the floor like doing learning engagement with an infant. Like that's just not what I want to do in this life. So it's an area, but like we have to look through our history, how people have really put the family on the pedestal, die for your country. You got the dairy ads about like the cows and like, just really like the heart of America is the farm. And, like, no, no, no. There's these spells and programs that have been put on a pedestal as if this is the most amazing thing. I'll tell you, I want to go to France and have French food. I want to like do weird things. I want to, like just base jump and like do some hand balancing on a biplane and like walk across a biplane and do tricks and, do acrobatic flying and just fun shit with my life. And I've done a lot of fun shit with my life already. I've done more shit than most people do in 10 years and in the whole lifetime I've done, is what I meant to say. It's like, how much of your life have you spent trying to fit in, and how much of your life have you spent doing the big adventurous life you really want to live? I know I find it really unfathomable that I meet so many people that don't really have any like interests or passions in life. Like they go to trivia night or play frisbee golf, and I'm sorry, but like I don't know what kind of life that is. This boring. Like you have this adventure of possibilities out there. And I'm telling you, like most of you are not grabbing as much life as you can. I'm a pilot, I ride horses, I'm a hand balancer, I'm a circus artist. Like I have had weird, amazing, crazy, cool experiences. I've just met millions and millions of people. I have, driven all over this country and experienced nearly every city in this country. Like there's just so much life out there. And so this Neptune can really wake people up to soul, or it could be a lot of people getting scared, Scorpio, and just really in that breakdown part of the Uranus and misunderstanding it for something's gone wrong here or there's a problem here, and then trying to escape Neptune into food and sex and cleaning underneath the refrigerator instead of like their big mission and their big purpose. But a bunch of people are going to be waking up during this time, and also a bunch of you are really provoked to upgrade and step into the like next adventure and to like live in breakthrough, or to finally do the healing, or to like finally create the business, or to create the next project in your business that you've been putting off. Like I know something in my business I've been putting the fuck off. It downloaded in February and I've been putting it the fuck off all year round, all year long, and I am finally doing it this month. This is a time of breakthroughs if you want them, because Uranus is breakthroughs. It is often breakdown to breakthrough, but not always. Depending on where you're at in the path and how you handle these things, it can just simply be like just the breakthroughs, and breakthroughs can cause disruption of like, okay, I got to switch all these things up and think differently about this. I got to believe in something, that it's possible, and have the certainty to pull this off and do this thing, right? But that's what's so powerful about it. All right. The other thing that's important is that there's a real push for more feminine awakening, and women really awakening more and more to the spells and the programming, and letting people abuse them, and narcissists. This is an awakening from narcissists and abusers of all sorts. We have Lilith here square that, and then Lilith is square Uranus, and trine Chiron in the North Node. North Node conjunct Eris Xena and Aries for a while now, all about autonomy, all about women getting into sisterhood, women standing up and leading by example of the new world, of the way to do it, the way to handle all these fucks out there and all of these abusers and all of these controllers and dominators that have been in positions of power for a very long time. We don't have to fight it. We just simply build the new world, and there's reactions, but you don't even have to be caught up in that. You might go through phases where you are, that's really normal and typical, and take the learning from those phases. Don't just go through these phases without getting all the like wisdom in it of like what you're understanding from having gone through it. Saturn, you know, is having this, you know, interesting time of like moving forward, this Pisces energy. Like we've gone through those first 7 degrees, and so we've been feeling out what Saturn and Pisces is. You know, on the one side, it is more people being deluded and spelled out, this mass formation thing, and then on the other side, it's people like really waking up into something that's more meaningful. Pisces is about meaning. You're like, Taurus is about what's meaningful, what's worthy of even doing. Taurus doesn't want to do anything unless it's worthy of doing. It's not going to build a house half-assed. It's like, why are we even, you know, putting a bathroom here if we're not going to make it beautiful, if we're not going to make it functional, if there's not enough space to turn around in it, you know? And so with these energies, it's about a life that you want to live. It's you know, people are living in all different ways all over the planet. People are going into van life, people are, you know, living in communities, people are going to the farmers market and growing their own food because they sprayed that fucking food saver bullshit in our food in 2020, and all of our food got really weird and like has no nutrients in it. And you know, it's just like people are like coming back into their power. You know, Pluto is about our power to be empowered to create life, to be free, liberated, Uranus, from those things that keep us from our evolution, that keep us from evolving, growing, that keep us, you know, we've been stuck as a species in nothing that has been interesting or good, you know. And so we really want to be aware of this. We have you know, with Venus and in Libra, you know, we have these extreme experiences happening because we're trying to find the middle road. We're trying to have these extreme experiences in one way or another. It's because you now have contrast. So for example, all year long, I've been doing something in my business the like wrong way, you could say, and getting a lot of data about how not to do this thing. And I've just been beating my head against the wall and like honing what I was doing over and over and over again. And I got to recently, like just this last couple of weeks, and I'm like, okay, this hasn't worked. This isn't the right way to do it. This is the wrong way to do it. But it's not negative. It's great because now I have so much contrast. I know exactly what not to do. I'm very clear on that. And that is powerful information. And so, you know, Libra is not balanced. Libra is trying to find the middle. And so it has these extremes of experiences to know that contrast, to know where the middle is. Like, how can you find the middle or, you know, understand anything and grasp all of these ways of looking at life if you have never had these experiences, all varying experiences to greater degrees or significant degrees of contrast? You know, like I was talking about earlier, so many people don't even know they're not free until Uranus breaks something down in their life and they realize just how much the partner was controlling them, or just how much they've always longed to go traveling and kept themselves stuck in a 9 to 5 and thought that they could never get out, or let their animals or their children dictate what they could do and what they couldn't do in their life, because they never tried to find another way. Like if I had a kid, I'd put that kid on the backpack and like, we're climbing up the mountain, we're going to do fun shit. I would not be, you know, something typical that is not enjoyable, you know, for me. Some people got that Cancer heavy and want to be out, you know, but so it's like people don't even know. And so this Venus in Libra is all about having these extremes of experiences. And the South Node here is pushing us to understand who we want to be in a relationship with and who we don't. A lot of people think you just have to be in a relationship because you work with all these people or you grew up with all these people or whatever the thing is. You don't. You actually get to choose, like, these people are okay for exercising together. These people are okay for this. These people are like my deep, like connected friends and family. These people don't get me. You know, you don't have to be in relationships just because, you know, you were gestationally connected because of like, you know, you were born in this family. You know, so many people keep narcissists in their life because they're in their family, because they're their mother, their brother, their you know, brother-in-law or whatever it is. Like, no, you get to decide. And why do you let anybody have access to you that doesn't respect you, honor you, want for your success, lift you up, positive? You want to put people around you that are doing the things that you want to accomplish in your life, because if not, they will drag you down and keep you stuck in mediocrity, keep you stuck in not accomplishing, not doing big things, not living the life of your dreams, not being on the grand adventure. And, you know, you have to realize that some of you really have this thing where you need to see it to believe it. And that is doing you in, because all around you, all you see is people living in mediocrity, people doing what the overculture spell program is, you know, work, sleep, entertainment cycle. You know, like going out to eat is the big thing of the week. You know, it's like they're not doing a business. If you're an entrepreneur and a soulpreneur, you got to put yourself around other soulpreneurs who are doing big things and who are managing their brain and changing their lives and are getting themselves in breakthrough, are doing the healing work, so that you can normalize it for yourself. You want to normalize being a woman in business and being a successful business, being a woman, being a successful woman, and a woman that speaks her voice and speaks her mind. You want to be around other strong women that speak up, because other people can easily admonish you simply with their energy, by judging you, by them feeling fear and thinking that you're too much and all those kinds of things. So you want to surround yourself with people that support your dreams. So really, really big new moon, y'all. I love this Scorpio energy right now. And we're going to go into the sun signs and oracle card readings for each sign. If you have not downloaded my Understand Your Astrology free mini course, go to empoweredwomenrise.com and download that for free. Or you can click the link below this video and do that. So when we go into your sun signs, your sun is a solar chart. It's really great information. Your rising sign is your natal chart. When you combine the two, you'll really understand the area of your life that this new moon is really affecting the most and having such a grand effect on. All right, y'all. So we're going to get into this. Let's do this, Aries. 8th house new moon. Opposite of 2nd house Uranus. And this Lilith in the 5th with with this T-square going on. So, you know, where are you hiding and not getting onto mission, not getting into your big purpose, like not willing to shine, like feeling scared to do that, and being in relationships that are unequal? Well, this is about about relationships being equal. So where are you in relationships that are unequal and not valuing you, and you're feeling scared to get out of those and to actually do the metamorphosis to transmute all of that? Uranus is wanting you to wake up into the freedom of having money and of creating wealth by creating value in the world, value of your intellectual property, your unique content, your unique gifts that you're bringing to the world. Maybe it's, you know, a really amazing pistachio gelato, or maybe it's a course, maybe it's computer programming, a computer program. But whatever it is that is your unique gift that you're bringing to the world, it's time to put it out there. That's what this T-square is about for you, is about not letting the subconscious material hold you back, and instead turning it into your power, that you then create value from what you've been through, and to have that liberation of having money, of being somebody who values themselves as their truth, instead of all that wishy-washiness inside without that lack of certainty. And Pluto in your 10th is been wanting this, deep transformation of how you think about status, how, you know, you think about how others see you, and transforming the way you look at career, the way you look at your place in the world, like putting your authority, integrating your authority into society. Obviously, you know, we're not part of the overculture. We're making a whole new world, whole new society, but it's time to get busy. It's kind of do this. Chiron, you know, causing a lot of disruption in your identity, how you see yourself, you know, all of the wounds and the hurts of people not seeing you the way that you really feel like inside yourself, people judging your appearance, maybe you didn't fit in. How much time in your life have you spent trying to fit in, and how much time in your life have you embraced being your unique, authentic, cool ass self? Really important question, Aries. Let's pull you some cards and see what's going on there. You know, fill your cup up with sacred giggles. This is really the card that came up before I started in on the sun signs. And it, like, I got this impression from my guides that they just wanted to like tell everybody that because we're finally having this ability to tap into our emotions, and all the stuff is churning up, all the stuff is turning up from the deep, like, subconscious places, and you're having dreams about these things, and it's wanting to shift and change. It can get to where you are a little too serious about it all. Healing should be fun. You know, yeah, you might be dealing with the hardest material, but when you transmute it, like, living in breakthrough is so much fun. Like, have fun, go out, get around people that make you laugh, learn how to tell jokes, go to comedy shows, go to watch funny movies. What are the things where you can get those big belly laughs and hang out with people where you get to laugh a lot? Maybe you collect a file in your Insta that's all funny stuff, and so that you can visit that whenever you need to get the laughter coming in. So that's just going to be a card for everyone. The message I'm getting, get back to the elemental, Aries, is like saying, like, are you fully resourced? Do you have silence? Do you have stimulation? Do you have connection? Do you have pleasure? Do you have, you know, enough sleep and nutrient dense food and all these types of things? You know, what's the ABCs of it? You know, sometimes in my business, I just have to go back to the basics. I'm doing a new thing or something's complex, and I just have to be like, okay, what's the very basic structure here? Get out of my head, get out of the plans and the vision, and just like, what's the priority here? Something else about, you know, getting back to the elemental is really feeling into your intuition and your heart, and making sure you're following that and not your mind, not letting your brain indulge in all of these shitty thoughts. Thoughts create feelings. Feelings drive behavior. So if you are thinking all of these shitty thoughts and you're letting your brain indulge in those shitty thoughts, then you are going to be having a crappy experience of life. So it's really about, like, what are you making your priorities? You know, there's things that we think are high priority and they're very low priority. Why? Because they have a low return. So you have to look at the return things have. And you might be wanting to do it to buffer, to escape, and not realizing it. Changemaker, make waves. This is really talking about you not like believing in your purpose and not doing your purpose. And the reason why a lot of times you won't take those steps and like go out there and do the thing is because you don't believe in yourself, you don't believe in what you're selling, you don't believe in your clients, that you can get them the transformation. You have to really get into belief. Do you believe in yourself and the transformation that you're selling, and what you can do if you're making gelato of like the most amazing gelato, if you're a Reiki master, of what you do with your Reiki, what result do you get your clients? You really want to believe in what you're offering the world. And my guide just showed me this vision of like, you're not putting yourself out there or stepping into the next level of what you're meant to do, because there's this doubt there. Find your sacred flow. This is all about letting letting the joy lead you, trusting the joy to lead you to the right place, understanding about needing to take things off your plate sometimes, or switch things around in your calendar to give yourself a break, or making sure you're getting the exercise, that you're getting the nutrient dense food, that you're doing the important things that provide the solid foundation for doing big things in business and in life. Really like taking a day that where you take like artist date, where you take yourself out and you let your soul flow you all around the city to fun, amazing experiences and random happenings, following the synchronicity. If you're in between synchronicities, it's okay. Nothing has gone wrong, but like look for the synchronicity, wake up, like being like, where's my synchronicity today? Like bring it to me, like guys, like I'm waiting for it. I'm ready for it, and see if you can keep raising your vibration. There's something here about being a little too bland and beige. And so this is wanting to like what do you want? How do you want to set your future self up? Whatever you're doing now is setting her up for success. So think about that. All right, Aries, sending you lots of love. If you want to book an astrology reading, you can do that at empoweredwomenrise.com. It's also where you can go get your free Understanding Your Astrology mini course. I'll see you over there. All right, Taurus, 7th house for you, with this Lilith in the 4th, and this Uranus in the 1st, and this Chiron in the 12th. A lot of shit from past life stuff is coming up, and it's always coming up to heal. There is this thing right now about exploding your belief and your positivity into this world, but for yourself first, before others, because you've got to be buoyed to inspire others. You've got to be inspired. And so there's something about like just really like this explosion of this authentic, genuine energy of optimism and positivity and enthusiasm and belief in what like this amazing life is that you're creating right now. If you're going through a phase that's a little more muck than amazing, understand that that's what builds manure for the flowers of the amazing to grow on. So it's a part of it. Nothing went wrong. And a huge part of the wound, half of the wound is how we narrate the injury. So we want to be aware of what we're doing with our mind. This is you like claiming your power. Like how are you with like your inner world, inner emotional security, inner security? Are you basing that on externals, or are you owning that is yours to create, and it is your job as a human on this earth that wants to be empowered, that wants to do big things, to create inner security and emotional security? You can't get it from externals: money, house, partner, car, job, any of these things. It's got to come from the inside out. And there's something about this joy and enthusiasm and laughter and play, and that's a huge part of it for you. And this transformation for you is really in the relationship zone of relationships And this is a lot of past relationships of cleaning up all the muck from that up, cleaning all the hurts, cleaning all the sorrows. All of this is coming up to like birth this new phase where you're free and clear of that because you're doing the inner work. Uranus is is disrupting the sense of yourself and old identities that don't serve you any longer. Some of you are like through that and have really stepped into new identities. Some of you are really going to have like a breakdown of who you thought you were or the reality you thought you were going to live, because Uranus is always trying to create freedom. And so it's a freedom from the old way of relationships, of accepting the people you accept in your life that were not good for you, that did not treat you well, that did not want for your success, that did not just have anything in common or want to go the same trajectory as you, lift you up, etc. And it's this T-square is huge about emotional security coming from the inside out, based upon like joy, like letting joy be this huge indicator light on the dashboard of your life, of like if you're on the right track or not. Because I'll tell you, even when I'm in the worst of things, there is so often like this sense that I wouldn't, it's weird to say joy, but there's this sense of like, it's a joy of doing that work. I don't know how to explain it like better than that. It's hard to language. It's something that I just feel. But I hope that maybe came across, this Chiron, and this Neptune in your 11th of like groups and people and your audience and all of that. And it's so much of of these changes to relationships, to people, to what you accept and allow, to how you see yourself because of how other people have responded to you or how other people have seen you. You don't want to let your self-image be dictated by other people's belief in you, by the results that you've gotten in your business before you've learned how to get better results. The results you've had in relationships before you learn how to get better results in your relationships. Like, you don't want to judge your self-image, have your self-image based on all of these untruths or other people's impressions or opinions or admonitions or past life shit. It's really about this new self-image, coming to relationships differently, from a certainty, from a fun place, from a believing in yourself, believing in your mission and what you offer, your product, whether it's your coaching or your energy medicine or your gelato. This is so huge. I think this is a really transformational new moon for you. Let's see what wants to come up for your cards, Taurus. So you got welcome to Divine Masculine. And, I've really worked hard lately to help everyone get out of these false understandings of the feminine and the masculine. The masculine is just motivated from an external reason, etc. Feminine is motivated from an internal reason. The feminine turns inward and is coming from within, and the masculine is external. So maybe the masculine might be like, I want to do this for humanity to shift, and the feminine might be like, I want to show up as my best self. I want to see my fullest potential be actualized, feminine and masculine. So it's in a protection message. So they're saying that there's something about this dynamic of your external motivation. Is it quirked? Is it twisted? Is it programmed? Where can you shift out of old programming from the overculture that doesn't serve you, that's not even yours? Where's other people's opinions really fucked with your image of yourself, your identity, like your self-image, your self-concept? Really think about your self-concept and where is people's implants gotten in there, and it's time to get them out. This is really knowing what your mission is, independent of the good opinion of other people, independent of what anybody else says is right, wrong, good, or bad. It's from your soul. It's from your impetus, what is important to you. Choose who you are becoming. Really interesting. Your astrology, is about self-image. And, you know, who are we in relationships if we're blending into the other person, or people pleasing, or not being authentic? Like, I had somebody people please me recently, and it was really icky when I like realized what was happening. And I hadn't quite had it like that experience before. And I was like, this is icky, because the whole time she's just pretending like she's something she's not. And she's responding to me as if I'm like this wolf that's gonna like attack or kill her, when it's like, it couldn't be the, you know, more opposite than that. And so she's acting like I'm some way that I'm not, and that like feels really weird and icky. And it's like, wow, you haven't even given the chance for authentic relationship, because you have showed up as a complete lie. It was just like weird, all this people pleasing. I'd never kind of had that experience before. It was really profound, and it taught me a lot about like the inauthenticity of people pleasing, how we are not even giving somebody the chance to know our unique self. We're not giving ourselves the chance to practice being our authentic self, because often we've been admonished or punished or not valued or not accepted or abused or whatever. And so, you know, it's almost like we have to practice being our authentic self and accepting it ourselves and loving it ourselves and believing in it ourselves. And so you don't even get to practice that if you're not showing up that way. And here's the thing, the more you live life by your intuition, the more you will understand who's a no-go and who's a go. And, you know, and like you'll know that this person isn't the person to be around at all, let alone in your authentic self or a mask. So why would you ever want to wear a mask? I'll tell you, like, I just don't have an inauthentic bone in my body. Like, I don't have the ability to do it. I just can't, like, and it probably would have served me to be able to, you know, I mean, I can code switch and do like understand like circles and what people need to hear and things like that, but it's never from like an inauthenticity or a mask. It's always from my actual self. And so I don't know, you know, other people are different. That's been a defense mechanism. That's been a safety for them. So, you know, this card, choose who you are becoming. Think about your future self and what do you want to do today for her? Set her up for success, set her up to be so proud of you, set her up to have the life that you are dreaming of. Creator alchemy is all about remembering your empowerment, remembering how capable you are, remembering that you haven't even pushed the edge of your greatness. Don't you want to see what you're capable of? Don't you want to blow your own mind? Don't you want to know like what is possible for you that you didn't even think so? I mean, just think, this is one movie that I love. It always lifts me up, and it's that guy who walked across the Twin Towers on the tightrope, and he, you know, like, look at what somebody did, you know, without safety gear. You know, Carl Walenda didn't use a net. That's how he died. You know, and he was a tightrope walker. But, you know, and I love this quote. He said, he's like, you know, the wire is living. Everything else is just, can't remember what he called it. Like everything else is superfluous or something like that. But he's like, you know, but that guy that walked across the towers, I mean, he pushed the edge of his own greatness. I mean, that's like, just think about that. And most people go to the grave in mediocrity. It's like, dude, realize you are the creator, and it's all about how you're letting your brain indulge in thoughts. It's all about that emotions work. And I tell you, we do this work in one-on-one coaching and in my monthly group coaching. So those are options for you. If you'd like to book an astrology reading with me and get that breakthrough, you can do that at empoweredwomenrise.com or click the link below. And don't forget to grab your free Understanding Your Astrology mini course there. See you next time, Taurus. All right, Gemini, let's do this. 6th house for you, with this T-square pointing to the 3rd and Uranus opposite it in the 12th. Chiron in the 11th, Neptune in the 10th. You know, I think it's going to be hard to know where the, you know, where everything hits in your business right now until the dust settles. But this is definitely looking to make sure that everything is meaningful for you. Like, is your business, is your work in this world, your calling, are you lifted up? Are you doing meaningful work? Is your day-to-day, you know, routines and activities spent doing what you love that lifts you up. Of course, we got to do things we don't want to do, but are you doing what you want to do? Because I have to tell you, like in my business, one of my coaches, she always talks about like, you got to do things you don't want to do. But I'll tell you in my business, like there isn't anything I don't want to do. Like I know that I'll delegate certain things out, at some point. And I go through slumps with like social media and different things, just natural phases. And so I try to batch to overcome those. But like there's nothing I really don't want to do. Like I love it all. I love it all. And so, some people might not think that's possible. I personally do think it's possible, and I'm an example of it. Yes, I have to overcome my resistance sometimes, but when I overcome it and do the thing, I'm loving it and having fun. I don't know why there's resistance cities. Sometimes our brains just do that, right? I didn't want to exercise today, but as soon as I got my mat and started exercising, I was having more fun than I'd had in a really long time. I was like, this is amazing. And I was in such resistance city to doing that. And man, so it's just, it's something to realize, like your day-to-day life, your lifestyle. This Scorpio new moon is wanting to churn up all of the deep subconscious material, all the past life shit, to give you a breakthrough about your whole way you're even thinking about business, about life, about how you live your life, how you have to, do you have all these have tos? Do you have all this status bullshit spells programmed in your psyche that it's supposed to look like this? Because my life will never look like anybody else's, and I wouldn't want it to. I don't want, and what's crazy? For a long time, the programs were so internalized within me that even though I would never want that life and it bored me to tears, I kept trying to do and explain away and, make excuses for like that programmed life that is sold to us. And I kept finding myself waking up and realizing it as I was like deprogramming it from my psyche. But I was like, why am I still trying to do that life? Like, I don't want that life. And so there's something here about, what do you think life is? What do you think business is? What do you think career is and calling is? What do you think your day-to-day life should look like? What do you think a professional looks like? What is all in your psyche, in your mind, and in the way you think, your belief system about, what somebody that has their shit together looks like, because that is dictating the way, how happy you are, if you're living the life you really want. This is about busting down the doors and breaking down all the places you've been held back by all that programming, all of the trying to make other people happy, all the trying to make sure you fit into certain groups or somebody approved of you or whatever the bullshit is. And Uranus is wanting you to have like this complete, breakaway from the patterns of the past, from all of that shit, from other people's opinions, from the overculture, from the consensus status quo. And Lilith is saying, like, you got to get some joy in the way you're thinking about life and your thoughts and your mind. Like, you got to bring the joy in. Everybody got this card, fill your cup up with sacred giggles. There's also something here about the tangible reality and making things real and your priorities. And are they based on the wounds, or are they based on, your future self and like what you want to see yourself doing in this future? So really consider that. Let's pull you some cards. You are magic, and it's easy to forget sometimes our gifts, our talents, our abilities. It's not systemic, like who are you spending your time around? Because most people are really okay with mediocrity. Most people are really okay with never accomplishing much. It's TV, work, sleep, entertainment cycle. Most people don't live a big adventurous life, don't do big things, don't want to change the world. You have to remember the amazing magical person you are, and start like being your own muse, start inspiring yourself, like be inspired. That's how you'll inspire your clients and your audience. What else is coming up for you? Befriend the word polarize. It can be easy to be all or nothing. Scorpio's very all or nothing, right? It can be easy to not be able to feel like you can hold all of these disparate things, like that there's such dark depravity on the world, and yet you've been in high vibration and high frequency and have been in these spiritual states of ecstasy and bliss, and it's like, how are these realities happening at the same time? Like, how do people like care about the earth are here, and people that don't give a shit and just like jump toxins in the ocean here existing at the same time? You don't really want to like narrate everything in such a way that you feel like you're living in this toxic world, but you don't want to be blind. My guides are always forever telling my clients and me, like, eyes open, but high frequency. Like, don't let your reality be affected by it. Here's the thing. So they do muscle testing, right? They do like the arm or whatever, to music, to fluorescent lights, to sugar, all these things. And if you are low frequency, all those things will affect your body in negative, deleterious ways. But if you are high frequency, all that shit does not affect you. You're impervious to it. So that's how much you are magical, that it's really true that high frequency allows you to not be affected by pollution and toxins, to be above like these things that most people are mired in. And so holding disparate things, holding opposing ideas, understanding we live in an oppositional universe and not making any of it wrong. And I find that sometimes I just go through a period where I'm integrating heavy things. I find that, sometimes I've just got to like remind myself that, come on, it's okay. No, these are two things here, and like start thinking about it in different ways. Really get your brain coached, go get coached, because this will change your life. Like, we are in this amazing world today. You don't have to sit in it. You get to change your life. You get to live in breakthrough. Something else wanted to come through. I forgot it. Maybe it'll come through before we get off here. Soul on fire. So this card is so much about realizing how much you have within you to create this amazing path of like where inspiration and enthusiasm and love and encouragement and upliftment is just rolling off you. Everywhere you go, it's just coming off of you. Everywhere you go, you're just this inspiration and this light and this and sometimes you're going to be off, and that's okay. Don't let that mean anything's wrong. Of course you need to rest, of course, but it's like this soul on fire on your purpose, your mission, your vision. I had to go in and see how I could affect people on the street in my business, and I did something in my business to do that, and it helped me be able to affect people one-on-one right now that were having a hard time financially, where I really suffered in my life before. And so that way I could still be connected to my bigger mission, because my bigger mission wasn't motivating me and driving me in the moment. And as soon as I did that, it gave me so much like just this inspiration and just this drive and motivation, because I could affect people's lives for the better, one-on-one, right here, live, right now. It wasn't like the big overarching changing the world into, to the age of light and to out of the depravity and like these big longer goals. So make sure, like, it's one of those things like bake some cupcakes, because you get to see the result right there. You get to go through the whole process to the result. Sometimes we have these big goals, and we need to have some little goals so we can like get accomplishments, and show ourselves that we get results. All right, Gemini, I'm sending you love. You get to choose your life. If you'd like to book an astrology reading, you can do that at empoweredwomenrise.com. And you can also make sure you go over there and get the Understanding Your Astrology free mini course. And the links below as well. Lots of love, Gemini. All right. Cancer. Cancer. 5th house new moon for you, opposing Uranus in your 11th. And this Chiron in the 10th, this Neptune in the 9th, and this point of this T-square, Lilith, in the 2nd. Very much about like, are you bringing your gifts to the world? Are you being a victim and kind of stuck in that victimhood? Or are you taking your own will, your own strength to create your goals, to make your destiny happen, to do something big and worthy in this world? Chiron in the 11th is like maybe the hurts of friends and groups or audience building that hasn't worked out the way you wanted it to. And it's saying, hey, it's time to heal this. Are you questioning your brain and changing things? How are you looking at things? There's always a million ways to look at something. Are you only looking at it one way and in the most negative way possible? Lilith is saying you've got to bring the joy into the part of your life of just the basics, like your home life and, sleeping, eating, your clothes, like bringing the joy back into life, watching funny movies, finding the things that bring you joy. Like, are you laughing enough? How long's it been since you've actually laughed? Is that common? Lilith wants you to reclaim your empowerment when it comes to making money, when it comes to having self-worth and self-value, when it comes to being self-reliant. This T-square is all like pushing you to get out of survival and into this like high functioning resourcefulness of like this woman who can figure anything out, is always a solutionist, and just believes. And Uranus is really wanting to individuate from groupthink and from mass formation and from how the consensus status quo is doing anything, and stop thinking it's safety. It's not safety, it's death. It is literally de-evolution to keep doing what the group is doing. You don't stand out that way. You cannot have a brand if you don't stand out. And Chiron in your 10th is asking you to stand up in your power and stand up as a unique self. This 5th house, this new moon, is like birthing, your gifts and talents, your confidence, your ability to stand up in that confidence, your ability to bring your nurturing energy and your loving empathy and to bring that in a powerful way for the world. Don't let it be a detriment. Let it be a benefit to the world. Don't let it be a detriment to you. This is really important about making money, about your career, and about the wounds of maybe when a business didn't work out or a project didn't work out or you've had failures. The only way you get something done is by having experience. And the only way to build up experiences so you can learn is by failing. And so you want to start practicing. You want to have as many experiences as you can. You want to go out there and learn and grow. And that's only through having experiences. That's only through really living life, being out in the world. So many people are so afraid of that, and they live in their head, and they live in virtual reality land. Accept and receive. And everyone got the card, fill your cup up with sacred giggles. So make sure to bring in the joy. So important right now. Accept and receive. So many of us don't know how to receive, and it's really on the energetic level. So it's really getting some energetic work around receiving and being able to take in love and appreciation. It's not necessarily that you're not getting it. It's that you're not even taking it in when you get it. And if you don't know how to accept a compliment, if you don't know how to do some basic things like that, I would start making sure that that's a priority. When somebody gives you a compliment, don't deflect. Oh, thank you. And really own it and be confident in it. And thank you so much. Thank you. I love the word "you're welcome." And most people, when they get a compliment, they say, when most people thank you, most people will say thank you back instead of "you're welcome." When somebody says thank you, say "you're welcome." You know what I mean? It's like, it's this weird twist of like people not wanting to own that they did something good for somebody. It's almost like a weird survival mechanism of like, if I'm too noticed, I won't survive. I'll be burned at the stake or some past life wound. So it's really about seeing how much you're giving versus receiving. How well do you actually receive? Prosperity is sisters are happiness and joy. It's understanding that what our indigenous, ancestors understand, that when we're happy, when we're in joy, when we're in ritual, when we're in sacredness, we manifest, we're in higher frequencies, we just attract a force field around us of synchronicity to synchronicity, like living from one to the next, of protection, of divine favor coming in, because we have this force field around us. And no, you can't be there all the time, or you might drop out of it. It's not, thinking anything's gone wrong, and it's not freaking out. And that's a real big, important learning when that happens. Like, use it as a learning when you drop out, or when you can't stay there, or when you're in a particularly dark time. It's okay. You got this card, overthinking can spoil the magic, in protection, meaning you're not managing your minds. You're letting your brain indulge in all these shitty thoughts. If you remember, you are not your collection of thoughts. And if you are allowing yourself to be too identified with your mind and thinking that is you, you won't question your brain, or you'll be really triggered or offended if like somebody, a coach or somebody, questions your brain. You start questioning your thoughts. Why are you believing crappy thoughts? Are they creating good emotions, good experiences of life? Or are they creating shitty experiences of life? You got to try your thoughts on like a hat and see what emotion it creates. Then you'll know if it's a good thought or not. If your emotions are creating self-doubt and worry and fear and anxiety and inaction and all of this, then it's not a good thought. Why are you letting your brain indulge in that? So you got to get control of your brain. If you want help with that, come into Light Goddess, my monthly group coaching, or you can apply for Alchemical Goddess, my one-to-one coaching. So sending you so much love, Cancer. If you'd like to book an astrology reading, you can do that at empoweredwomenrise.com. And definitely the links are below. Definitely go over there and make sure you get your Understanding Your Astrology free mini course. Lots of love until next time, Cancer. Leo, 4th house for you. This T-square to Lilith in the 1st. And this opposition to Uranus in the 10th. It's so much about your work and how you see yourself and your self-concept. It's so much about owning your power and your identity, your appearance. Are you letting other people's opinions or thoughts judge you, or the overculture's way of how you're supposed to look? I know a lot of women that just do that, like blonde hair, tan, certain kind of look, because we've been so inundated in the culture by, this is what's sexy to men, you must look like this. And I'm not saying that you don't want to look however you want to look. I'm just saying, though, that sometimes we're so programmed and we don't know it. And there is and I'm not putting anyone down or saying anything is one way or another. I just I went through that phase myself, but I just see how sometimes people are really caught up in this image versus like, what do they really want to look like? Have they ever experimented with their appearance and their image? Because this astrology for you is about your appearance. It's about your self-concept, your self-image. It's about how you're seen by other people. Uranus wants to break free from how caring and doing your life based on what other people say, or the overculture, or the programs. It's really trying to break you free from that in this new moon. There is subconscious material around how you look, and about having security from the inside out. Security does not come from how other people approve of you, or how other people like see that you're supposedly XYZ, or that you're accepted and included in certain groups or circles, or that you finally have enough stature or money or success or aplomb, or none of that is the truth of inner security. Inner security comes from within you only, where you can be in any situation and maybe be embarrassed, maybe be upset, but you're okay with handling that you're, it's okay. Like, you have security within a moment of insecurity. And this Lilith wants to stop kowtowing to family or other people, or how they do things and see things. Neptune in the 9th, and in the 8th rather, just very much about like the subconscious material. And are you like ignoring it, denying it, escaping it, stuffing it down. Like, Neptune's very much about escaping drugs, alcohol, constant activity. There's so many ways you can escape: cleaning, all these things that might seem like good things, digging into your kids so much. And like, I'm a good parent, it's so pious, but really it's actually avoiding the inner work. Chiron in the ninth, all about your belief systems. Are they supporting the life you really want to live? Are they supporting who you want to be in the future? Or are they really, like, are you bound by this belief system that is not serving you? We don't have to actually have beliefs at all. We don't have to have beliefs. You can just have concepts that continually evolve. It's an evolving story. You don't have to have beliefs. The reason why we're so much where we are in this world right now is because of people really adhering to belief systems that are antiquated, outdated, that are completely superfluous to begin with. The sacred flow of yes. This is where, are you feeling your intuition and saying yes to it? Are you hearing it? So often we override it. Get good at hearing it retroactively. Like, if you did miss it, go back through what happened in your mind so that next time you have a bigger chance of hearing it in the moment and taking action on it. Often you just practice with really little things. Like, your intuition will say, like, make sure you pick up spinach at the store, and you're just like, I don't need spinach. Like, what do I need spinach for? And then sure enough, like, you needed it for smoothies you were going to start making or something, and you're like, fuck, I got to run back to the store. It's just like the little things are the best way to learn your intuition. I should have turned left and I didn't listen, I turned right. Follow through. This is wanting you to make sure that you take action all the way through on your big mission, on your purpose, on all your little projects, on all the parts of your life, and on how you see yourself, how you're coming across to other people. Is it your authentic self? Is it about how others see you? Are you following through on your authenticity and how you want to be seen in this world? The spark of creativity, the spark of, your mission. Like, this is like where you are determined, you are focused. That Leo energy is mental focus. It is like focused and creative and like just determined. And it is this energy that is like pointed in a direction and like completing it to the end. So it's wanting like you to follow through, like to follow in your intuition, follow through on it, hear it, and then be in that excitement and that determination, and where you're just immersed in that thing, and it's so all consuming and enjoyable. And everyone got the card, fill your cup up with sacred giggles, about making sure there's joy and laughter in your life. Have you been laughing enough? Has there been enough enthusiasm? Have you been a little too serious? You want to make sure you let joy lead you to the right place. Sending you lots of love. If you'd like to book an astrology reading, you can do that at empoweredwomenrise.com. And don't forget to go over there and get your free Understanding Your Astrology mini course. See you next time, Leo. Virgo. Third house with that T-square pointing to the 12th for you, and Uranus in the ninth. And so much about your belief systems and what you're thinking in your mind, and how you're thinking. Like, are you indulging in thoughts that don't serve you? Lilith is hanging out in the past life zone, like this completion zone. So lots of shit's churning up. You might not realize it's coming from past life terrors, past lives that want to resolve, that want to be healed. It's time to move through this stuff. It's time to move beyond. It's time to believe in yourself. It's time to have beliefs that actually believe in you, actually believe in the work you're doing in the world, that actually believe in your greatness, that believe in like blowing your own mind and finding out what you're really capable of, and really, really, like loving life and the adventure of life. Like, what do you want to do? And you can be really mercurial. It can be really like stuck in the compartmentalizing, the day-to-day, the perfectionism, the improving. It's just a natural mechanism of that Virgo energy. But like, you get to choose. Like, you don't have to have beliefs to run your life. You don't. Concepts, but you don't have to have beliefs, and you don't want to let really bad thoughts turn into dogmas in your subconscious mind. And we also need to clean out the old subconscious shit from past lives that doesn't serve us. That's not who we are. And so this is a big healing, but it's so much about your beliefs and your mindset and what's going on there. Are you doing the inner work? Are you letting your brain indulge in shitty thoughts? A lot of past life stuff is churning up. Pluto is in the fifth, all about your gifts and your big purpose. And are you creating your destiny? Are you taking your will to create your destiny? Or are you letting yourself fall into victimhood? You know, the wound is in the eighth house. There could be this like subconscious material and the shit from childhood churning up, and this, you know, lots of stuff about relationships and sexuality and money and all of these parts of the suppressed feminine coming up. And it's about like, you know, are you going to be in empowerment or disempowerment? Are you going to believe in what you can create and the magic in this world? And it's okay. It's okay to give yourself a break. It's okay to like bring more compassion for yourself. You got to bring that compassion for yourself. You got to make sure to lift yourself up. Everyone got this card. Fill your cup up with sacred giggles. Bring in the joy. My guides are wanting everyone to really prioritize joy, prioritize fun and play and pleasure and interesting things, not in the like the false pleasure kind of stuff, the stuff that's really feeding your light, feeding your joy, feeding your positivity, your optimism about the future. Feed your artist is your first card, wanting you to do the things that make your creativity ignite. Like, you know, I went to a children's museum with a kid I was doing childcare with years ago. Well, they had this area where you could do stuff with clay and then put it in the kiln and get fired and then come back the next day and grab it. And like, this was so fun. This fed my inner child. It fed my fun part of me. It fed like so much of my joy and my light, because it'd been years since I'd had access to a kiln and could make clay stuff and get my hands like up in the clay and be messy. It was so fun. And I had no idea that that was going to happen that day, or that was even an option. So I started going there by myself and going and making clay stuff and feeding my inner child, feeding my joy. You know, there's all these amazing things we could do with our life that we don't do. You know, when the butterflies bloom, a lot of museums will have butterfly exhibits where all of them are just popping and coming out of the cocoon, and they're just everywhere and they're so beautiful. Like there's like frog exhibitions. I went to Chicago once to see a band I loved, and I was kind of looking for other things to do while I was there, and they had this frog exhibition of like rare frogs with tree frogs and all this stuff, and I love frogs, and I thought it was amazing. It was an amazing experience. Like we have to go grab life out there. There's so much of it. So it's like the message is really clear, Virgo. Make a mission statement for your soul. This is about living from soul, not living from the mind. That Virgo is very analytical, inwardly, always judging, wanting you to be better, different. It's an improving mechanism. There's a reason it exists. It's important, but it can be geared too high if you have Virgo energy in your chart heavy. So, you know, really coming from soul, really coming from this, you know, this desire for life to be better, this desire for, you know, blowing your own mind, seeing what you can create, seeing what you're capable of in the world. You're living in breakthrough. You got creator fire, but it's in a protection message. This creator fire is about optimism for the future. It's about believing. It's about this mental focus and creativity and taking your will to create the things you want to create in life. Create your destiny, make things happen, make big dreams happen, do your business, sign clients, get your work out into the world. Like get with other people who are creators, who are fun, who are living the life, who are on the adventure and having fun, and be a solutionist. All right, Virgo, you got this. And I don't know why I put another card, but it's like, what does your soul say? So you got this message so clear. Joy, fun, come from soul, get out of your head. And why is there not optimism about the future? I think it's that past life shit needs to be healed. If you're not working with, you know, if you don't want to work with me, work with somebody, but heal that stuff. But I promise you, I'll keep you and break through and help you heal completely. It's what I do. It's my particular gift in this world. I've been through so much shit to figure that out. And it's the magic that I do. And if you are interested in one-on-one coaching or my group coaching program, You can go to empoweredwomenrise.com, and that's where you can get an astrology reading, start digging into the uniqueness of you, or make sure you go over there and grab my Understanding Your Astrology free mini course. And the link is below. Sending you lots of love, Virgo. All right, Libra. Second house, new moon for you, with this T square pointed at your 11th and Uranus in your 8th. So very much about money, about lack, scarcity, and this new rebirthing of healing all that stuff. And Uranus wants you to break free from, you know, the things that aren't serving you, that are deep subconscious stuff, the things that are holding you back, the blocks and the traumas and the wounds. You know, Lilith is pumping you to bring the joy, bring your expertise to the world, to stand in your power in the world, to demand equality in relationships, to look at yourself in a way that's equal or expert to those around you, not over or superior or dominating, but like expert. Like, either I'm an expert and I'm sharing my gifts, my talents, and my skills because I can help people change their lives and have a better life, or looking at them as equal. You've been looking at yourself as like less than other people, or other people are better, or striving for them to approve of you and like you. And it's like time to like let that go and heal that stuff, and to really love yourself at a deep level, like believe in yourself. And Uranus is wanting you to break free from all these wounds that are causing this. It takes healing. It takes changing our life, looking at our thoughts, handling our emotions. And Chiron is in the 7th house of relationships, and where there's wounds around that, where there's old hurts, things to clear out, how you'll see it all churning up in your psyche. Like, you know what material it is there to be worked on. Neptune is maybe fogging out the day-to-day life that makes it hard to know like what's a priority, but also know that it's like wanting your day-to-day life to be more meaningful and more fulfilled and more filled with joy and priorities that are creating value in this world that you get paid for, to resolve money issues, to release this lack mindset, this lack way of believing that you're less than, you don't deserve, and that you shouldn't have, and to dump that. It's time to resolve this. It's time to fully transmute that and let the phoenix rise from that old stuff. You are living poetry. It's this really understanding the beauty of you, understanding, like, looking how you see yourself as really this unique thread in the whole tapestry that's here to bring through your unique transmission that heals people, that uplifts people, that is something no one else can offer. You know, really honoring the truth of your unique gifts, your unique talents. So many of you are not honoring the truth of that. When you're changing and growing and you're doing big things, evolution feels messy. You know, it's the edge of evolution feels messy. I love this card so much because it's always talking about how oftentimes when we're in an upgrade, we feel like we're slipping backwards and we're going backwards. And it's because like we get all these insights, but then like it shows us the vision, but then we got to walk the path to get there. We got to meet ourselves there. We got to believe all the way. You know, that's why you want to get yourself coached. That's why you want to do this inner work, because you want to live in breakthrough. You want to realize that this is actually the place where it's fun. Like, nothing fell apart. When things fall apart, it's trying to get you to pay attention to your intuition. It's trying to get you to think about synchronicity, go back into joy, go to the basics. One of the basic tenets of is joy. Like, are you? Everybody got this card. Fill up your cup with sacred giggles. My guides wanted me to bring this up to everyone of like, are you getting enough joy? Are you feeding your joy? And so many of you are having a boring life. You're not really going out there and living life, you know. just simple things can be really amazing. Manifesting versus doing, it's wanting you to make sure that you're letting spirit come in to co-create with you, but are also taking inspired action both. You got to do both. You can't just do all one and not the other. And some of you are working and grinding without letting, working with the divine to create, and others you are thinking that it's just going to happen and are doing dream boards and not taking action. So it's like making sure to combine the two, and like these cards together, just like so pretty, all the colors, it's just this vibrancy, and it's wanting you to realize this vibrancy you have within you, to bring your unique transmission, your unique expertise, your unique gifts to this world. It's needed. People are not going to be able to hear it from someone else. They're going to need it from you. Just because you think you're doing something as similar to somebody else doesn't mean that it's your unique transmission of it that is so powerful. The way you hold space, or the way you say it, or what you've been through in your life is what's going to resonate with people. Accept and receive. Make sure you're receiving as much as you're giving, that you are actually receiving it on the energetic level. So make sure you're taking it all in on the energetic level. All right, Libra, sending you lots of love. Make sure to go get my free Understanding Your Astrology mini course over at empoweredwomenrise.com. Link is below. If you'd like to book an astrology reading, you can do that there as well. See you next time, Libra. Scorpio, first house, new moon for you, with this opposition to Uranus in the 7th and this T-square to Lilith in the 10th. So much about your identity, how you're showing up as autonomous or an independent in relationships, or as people pleasing, people pleased out, and not your authentic self in relationships. Are you wearing the mask, or are you showing up as you? Are you letting yourself evolve and change and grow too? Are you an evolving story? Or are you stuck in the past and stuck in other people's ways of what you should supposedly be, and not being your unique, authentic self? First house is all about identity. It's about how you deal with threat. It's about your appearance. Are you having major appearance issues like overweight, or not, looking the way you are? Your health's not going the way you want it to go. You have to stop beating yourself up about it and just take inspired action. Get yourself a coach. Get yourself an accountability partner. Do co-exercising together. Do exercising that's fun. One coach years ago really changed my mind. Like, I never thought about like going kayaking as exercise, but like she really changed my mind. Is like exercising could be a lot of things that are actually really fun. It doesn't have to look like grinding in the gym or running, or these things that are traditionally thought of as exercising. Also, you might need to be giving yourself a break of just like a phase you're going through right now, and that's going to take the time it takes, and really be loving on yourself. Chiron in the 6th house of like the wounds around your day-to-day life. It's not the way you want it to be, and it takes the time to shape it into what you want it to be. But release, really see how you're narrating things. If you think it's going to last forever, if you think you're never going to get out of it, and what are you making sure you're doing everything that you can do? And are you getting coached? Are you letting yourself be shifted into breakthrough, doing what you can, and healing the wounds that you might have around how things didn't go like you wanted, or you're not where you wanted to be? And it's okay to move through that stuff. Give yourself a break. Bring in the compassion. Neptune in the 5th, it's definitely like wanting you to push to make sure that everything you're working for is for the thing that's most meaningful, that it's not based on what other people say it should look like, but it's what's going to be meaningful for you and your soul. First house, new moon for you, Scorpio. Let's see what the cards want to say. You are living poetry. Interesting. This card is like really hammering home. Anybody out there have Libra and Scorpio and their sun and rising? You are living poetry is all about believing in the magic that you are. and really seeing yourself in a way of like a piece of art that, you know, like Michelangelo's statue, you know, he said the statue was already inside. He was just carving the marble from around it, and really seeing yourself as this evolving story, seeing the beauty of you, your dreams, your gifts, your talents, your skills, that you have never even uncovered half of your skills and talents and abilities. I promise you. Most women have never been given space and room to grow. Most women have been stuck conforming to some fucked up dudes, idolize, you know, romanticize bullshit version, depraved version of what is like beautiful, and has never like actually like experimented with life, done like real dreams and passions, like even uncovered what's within them that they even want. They even know they have like all of these brilliance and gifts in them because it never had a chance to come up and out before. Because it's like you got to grease the wheels. We got to grease the wheels to give your genius a chance to come up and out. So you got to make things, and you got to make shit and be messy and have fun so that you can even see what's in there. It's kind of like, say you're painting, you probably have to make a shit ton of shitty paintings until you finally like start to see how good and talented you really do have inside of you, and you start to craft that. When I first started doing things in like Adobe or Canva, like I was like, I don't really know what I'm doing, but then I started catching on to things and trying new things and figuring things out, and I make fucking great shit now, and I love my stuff, and I've made like amazing stuff, and I didn't even like use templates and stuff. And so, and you know, there's like design theory and everything, and my shit looked great. So I'll tell you, like, you know, I had to grease the wheels. I had to do it. I had to get better at it. So you gotta do stuff and take action to learn, to grow, to evolve. But believing that there's a magic inside you is number one. Welcome the divine masculine in a protection message. It's wanting you to really realize what your external motivations are, and if they're pure or if they're based on programs, other people's opinions, wanting to fit in, wanting approval. Cozy Up with Risk is really wanting you to put yourself out there, get over the stuff, like go get the healing, go get coached, like make sure you're taking the big actions to overcome your fear of transforming, and go get into breakthrough, go transform, go do the thing, go shift, go, you know, put yourself out there, do the exercise routine, or finally tell the person the thing, you know, be real about yourself, take the mask off. It's wanting you to do what you know has been poking at you to do. And everybody got this card, fill your cup up with sacred giggles. My guides want everyone to know to feed your joy. It should be a priority. Sending you lots of love, Scorpio. If you'd like to book an astrology reading with me, you can do that at empoweredwomenrise.com. And that's also, make sure you go over there to get your free Understanding Your Astrology mini course. That's empoweredwomenrise.com, and it's also below this video. I'll see you next time, Scorpio. All right, Sag, 12th house new moon for you. Opposite Uranus in the 6th, with this T-square to the 9th. And, you know, this 12th new moon, it's a completion, it's a culmination, you know, it's hearkening to wounds and your psychic gifts and your energetic worlds and your dream worlds and what's going on there, what's been coming up, you know, the material that's been coming up. You know, the Scorpio new moon is about healing, it's about our inner psychology, our inner subconscious material and world, and it's been showing you this for 2 weeks, you know, for a month, but for 2 weeks, like what's been going on, what's been coming up, you know what this material is. It's wanting to heal, it's rising to be dealt with. You don't know how to do that work, you can come into Light Goddess and get coaching in my monthly group coaching and get the breakthrough, heal this stuff. It's Lilith is here wanting you to stand in your power of your expertise, wanting you to take your power back from old beliefs that weren't even yours, that got implanted when you were, you know, 6 years old, that got implanted from past lives, conditioning from the overculture. And it's wanting you to clear out the programs, to step into your power in your day-to-day life. Like Uranus wants you to be liberated, to have the lifestyle you want to have. Explode your positive belief in the future and in what you can create and who you want to be, and do everything for your future self. Like, set her up for success, love her, make her proud of you, set her up, like, accomplish this for her. Think about her and how you can do this for her. This Chiron in the fifth is like these wounds of confidence, of feeling special, of your special destiny, of like feeling like you're here for something big, for this big purpose, but like maybe not being given help, maybe failing so far in your life, maybe you never had the environment or the money or the affluence or the things you needed to make it happen. You know, it's just really wanting you to understand that there's this creativity that you're meant to act on, overcome these old blocks that might feel nebulous, might feel like you can't quite name them, but you feel them, and that's enough to move forward. Neptune's in the fourth, really wanting there to be something that you base your security on that's meaningful from within you. It's not from an external, but it's something meaningful that goes deep. That's like this epiphany from soul, from the universe, of where you fit into the cosmos, the greater scheme of things. This is big stuff for you, Sag. And let's pull the cards to see what they want to come up with for you. Distraction of shiny things. It's easy to buffer with cleaning or with keeping yourself really busy or having 25 jobs or overfilling your client roster, or your kids are a great excuse. You know, you can buffer with things that seem like they are good, but you know you're not taking care of you. You know you're not slowing down to hear what's really going on inside. And you know you're just bouncing from one like high to another high to another high. You know, spiritual bliss and this transformational thing and then this transformational container, and not really doing the inner stuff. Here's the thing, why we don't do the inner stuff is we don't believe we're going to get the result. And I'll tell you that I keep my clients in breakthrough. I live in breakthrough. And so, you know, if you work with me, I will keep you in, I will help you get that transformation, that result. If you don't work with me, work with somebody else who gets their clients results. But you can get to the other side of anything that you need to heal. And I'm a walking testimony to that. I've healed everything you can think of, every abuse you can think of, you know, childhood sexual abuse, you know, horrible things from past lives, narcissistic abuse, horrible people, being fired from jobs, you know, not being able to earn what I'm worth at jobs, like under earning. I mean, I have healed so much in my life. I've healed poverty. I've healed, you know, emotional manipulative friends. Like, I've healed so much. You can heal completely, I promise you. So lead your metamorphosis. It's wanting you to get out of the disempowerment to take action. It's okay that we have the disempowerment within us, but we're the only ones that can actually get us out of it. And so we have to be willing to get out of the how and take actions. That taking action and getting experience is the only way you'll understand the how to do it. What wants to come up for Sag? Gosh, nothing was coming up. All right. Nourish the sacred feminine. It's in a protection message. So it's wanting you to really think about your internal motivations and what are they? Wanting to be approved? Is it the wound? You know, you have 12th house new moon. Is it the wound? Is it wanting to be approved of? Is it wanting to feel special? These are okay things to identify and say, this is what's going on inside me, and be real with it. I told a whole group of women who were not able to handle it that I said that. One of them said something weird to me. Like, she's like it was like, oh, that's what it is. Yeah, you're like you're dumb. You know, it's kind of like that. Another woman just disappeared and like didn't come back to the group. It freaked her out because it like provoked her own stuff. And I like told the group that like I went into this like thing because I just wanted to feel special. It was unconscious. I didn't know I was doing it. But I'm not afraid to be real, because once you identify it, then you can heal it. Like, it's like, let's name it, because then we can get rid of it, man. Let's throw that shit in the dumpster. You know, not spiritual bypass, but real healing. So it's like what is the internal motivation, and you want to get that like squared away and be coming from a place of believing in your feminine genius. All right, sending you so much love, Sag. If you like to book an astrology reading with me, you can do that at empoweredwomenrise.com. Make sure you go over there and grab the free Understanding Your Astrology mini course. The link is below too. I'll see you next time, Sag. All right, Capricorn, this is the 11th house new moon for you. Opposite that Uranus in the 5th, and T squaring this 8th. And so much about helping humanity, sacred activism, individuation. It's about groups, your audience, friendships. You know, you may have friendships where you're like weeding people out. Like, I'm waking up, I'm seeing how these people suck, and I'm getting all the people out that don't believe in me, that don't want for my success, that are actually hindering me or trying to keep me stuck or down. Or, oh my God, I'm finally getting people in my life that we really are a vibe match. We really support each other. We really are kindred. We really care. We both have similar missions that are parallel. Like, it's, you know, this is what's going on for Capricorns. And so much of this is about individuation, you know, like Scorpio is the deep wounds. And so it's like, are we individuating from the overculture, from other people's opinions, from how other people think you should do it? And with that Capricorn's all about integrating your authority into society, but which society, the overculture or the new one that we're all building? With our own values of what's important in the world. And this Lilith is saying, hey, you got to like reclaim your sexuality, your sensuality, your money. You got to reclaim your, you know, your, what you think about the world. Like if you're, you know, too polarized and you're thinking too all or nothing, you got to reclaim this, your own transformation, and transmute all that pain into the wisdom. You actually get something from pain, loss, and challenge. You get to keep the wisdom of going through that. Most people don't know how to do it. That's why I teach that in either one-on-one coaching or my monthly group coaching. And most people don't do it because they don't believe they can actually get to the other side. And I'll tell you, I'm a walking testament to getting to the other side. I've healed from everything you can think of. Lilith wants you to reclaim your power and go ahead and walk through the door of change and evolution. And don't be afraid of being the caterpillar in the messy, soupy mess when everything's falling apart and all the walls and the floor and the ceiling are gone. Don't be afraid of that little part of it. Nothing has went wrong here. This is the indicator light that the evolution is right, you know, around the corner. So how you're narrating it is half the wound. So this Chiron and the 4th, all about your self-image, how you've been seeing yourself, your self-concept. What is your self-concept? Is it based on other people, trying to fit in, trying to be the good girl? Like, you know, what is it based upon? And are you creating your self-concept consciously? Are you coming from an inner security, or has your security been based on externals, money and jobs and career and, you know, relationships? Security must come from within, or we are putting ourselves at a detriment. It's not something you push a button on overnight, but it is something to really let that rattle around your consciousness. Neptune in the 3rd is saying, hey, like, are your thoughts coming from something meaningful, or are they all just coming from the wound? So important to consider. Let's pull cards for you, Capricorn, and see what wants to come up for you. Move beyond intention to belief. This is all about, you have the intention to do a big project in your business, but you have to actually believe in what you're selling. You have to believe in your product. You have to believe you can get you know, people an amazing experience with your gelato. You know, you have to believe that this is like, they're going to have this pistachio gelato and it's going to be like the most amazing thing they've ever had in their life. And, you know, you have to believe in your Reiki or whatever it is that you do. You have to believe in the project that you're creating and that it's valuable. So moving beyond intention to belief is about like literally creating the belief that you believe in yourself, you believe in other people, you believe in your audience, you believe in the people in your life, you believe that they're capable and strong, and you believe you are. So it's so important. You are living poetry. This card keeps coming up a lot for the collective, and it's really wanting you to understand the magic and the beauty of you and the art, like to create yourself as the art piece. Look at yourself as the masterpiece, and understanding it's an evolving story. It's never set or fixed. Capricorn can be a little set or fixed. It can be a little it can be a lot curmudgeonly and serious. It's Saturn energy. Saturn broods. It does that because it wants to change the reality, the structures of the reality. Though there's a reason Saturn does. There's a reason all the planets do what they do. It's not for no reason. And so it's like really understanding that you are the masterpiece yourself. These cards, like I'm shuffling, welcome the divine masculine. It's wanting you to really reassess your external motivations. Where are they coming from? Why? Are they based on programming? Are they based on society? What other people want from you? Or are they your dreams and goals, your soul's intentions for this lifetime? You got this card changes in a protection message all about resisting change, and that Scorpio can resist change like crazy and go back into what feels safe and comfortable. Here's the thing, whatever feels safe or comfortable feels secure, but it's de-evolution. It's the past, it's chewed gum. So whatever feels, whatever is the new thing and the growth will feel unstable, but it's actually the exact thing that is stable because it's evolution. It is. And so if you can get used to that feeling and start narrating that feeling of a lack of stableness, narrating it as, oh, this is evolution, this is fun, this is the adventure. Think about anything that's really exciting or fun, like a roller coaster or something like that. When you feel like you're lifting off from your seat, and you could just fly out of the thing, you're having fun. That's the fun part of the ride, and it's not like when you're just like going up the thing where it's like tick, 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 and it's predictable and it's annoying and the noise, and you're like waiting to go over the hill. When you go over the hill and go down, you're like, I might fly out of here. That's when it's really fun. And so you can start re-narrating that feeling of lack of stability differently. I think that'll really help you. Everyone got the card. Fill your cup up with sacred giggles. It's all about making joy a priority. My guides want to really hammer that for everyone. Sending you lots of love, Capricorn. If you like to book an astrology reading, you can do that at empoweredwomenrise.com. And make sure you go over there and grab your free Understanding Your Astrology mini course over there. The link is below too. Talk to you next time. All right, Aquarius, didn't forget you. New moon in Scorpio in your 10th, opposite Uranus in your 4th, and then this T square to Lilith in your 7th. And so much about taking action, initiating, getting out there in the world, like putting your work into the world, stop holding back, show the world the beauty that's in you and the magic that you have. This, full moon is like wanting you to transmute like the old image of yourself, your old self-concept that's actually holding you back and keeping you stuck and isn't allowing you the absolute version of life that's the most fun, that is the most creative and passionate and wild and adventurous, and that gives you all this freedom of creativity and ingenuity and like really being the revolutionary with a cause that changes people's minds and inspires and uplifts people. And it's like saying that there's a lot of old stuff around your business, and like maybe it's fear of putting yourself out there, maybe it's like fear of like how other people perceive you or people not perceiving you right, because Pluto is in your 12th. A lot of subconscious material there from past lives. That stuff needs to be healed, and we do that in Light Goddess. We do that in one-to-one coaching. But it's so much. It's like, how do you do it? Most people don't know, and that's why I teach that. That's why I help women get to the other side of it, because we haven't known how to do it now. But now you can get coached. Now you can change your life. Now you can live in breakthrough. And it's wanting you to really like up level in your business, have a self-concept of you that honors your genius, that knows your magic, that pushes to the edge of your greatness, that pushes the boundaries, that puts yourself out there and get creative, have fun, stop doing the old tried and true. This is not the time for that. This Chiron and the third is all about the way you're thinking about things. And if you're letting your brain indulge in shitty thoughts, if you're letting yourself be in victimhood thinking or disempowered thinking, or old thoughts that are outdated, it's really about managing, like learning how to manage your mind. Like, what thoughts are you letting yourself just spin in? And this Neptune in the second about like your like life, like your bed, your food, your comforts, your material world, it's got to stop coming from survival, and it's got to come from someplace that's meaningful, that means more, it's connected to some bigger vision here. So this is a big new moon for you. Huge transformation afoot. You will know the things that have been coming up in your psyche that you're dealing with. So this card wanted to come up for you, Aquarius. You are light. In a protection message, though, it's wanting you to like tap back into the truth. Spark back up your match inside. Like spark back up that light within you. That is inspiring, that's a revolutionary, that's a rebellious leader, a sacred activist, of one that knows the true vision of what is amazing, of the adventure, of the amazing life, of what humanity is capable of. We've seen the amount of darkness humanity is capable, the amount of depravity, the amount of debauchery. We've seen that over and over and over again. Now it's time for us to show ourselves what humanity is capable of in the opposite direction. We haven't seen that yet. So you are light. It's like wanting you to tap in. This protection message is saying like some energy work. You've got to get a little bit of support and help on this. Rise. So it's interesting message, 10th house, 4th house, all about your self-concept, and then your big purpose and mission in the world, all about how other people see you and public opinion and all of that. And you got like wanting to remember that you are light, like you haven't been believing that you really have something to offer, like you've been putting yourself down, you've been letting your brain indulge in shitty thoughts about you, about your business, everything. You have to believe in what you're selling, you have to believe in yourself, you have to believe in your audience, you have to believe in the world that you want to create. It's saying to rise, like it rise up out of the wounds and the like, what's holding you back, really getting an understanding of what it is. What is the fear about? Obviously we're not going to just push a button and like suddenly, but we have to take the actions every single day to do it. You just have to keep going and take actions and show up, and it will shift. You do get to the other side of it. Inflow with money is saying that like you have every ability to create abundance, that you may be in quite a bit of abundance, that you may be in a certainty about money, that you know that you're worthy, that you know that you deserve money, you know that you make money easily, and that you believe in all of that. But this is a reassurance that you will have what you need, and definitely about remembering like coming from the light instead of superiority, or instead of it based upon other people approving of you or things like that. So make sure it's really coming from a positive place. Everyone is getting this card, fill your cup up with sacred giggles, about making joy a priority. So guys, really wanted to hammer that home. Sending you lots of love, Aquarius. And if you'd like to book an astrology reading, you can do that at empoweredwomenrise.com. And make sure you go over there and grab your free Understanding Your Astrology mini course. You can click the link below to grab that. Talk to you next time. All right, Pisces. This is a 9th house full moon for you. Opposite Uranus in your 3rd, T squared to Lilith in your 6th. And it's so much, Pisces, about this transformation of your expertise. of you as a leader in the world, of your belief systems. Maybe you are finally changing your beliefs, believing in yourself again after maybe a challenging period in your life, or maybe this is like time to say, hey, it's time to start believing in yourself. And if you don't know how to do that work, we do that. I do that in one-on-one coaching with my clients, and we do that in Light Goddess Together in my monthly coaching program. But if you don't work with me, work with somebody, but like, you got to change your beliefs. And I'll tell you that this is not difficult to do. You do actually change them. And it's just like, it's different when you're showing up in certainty, when you're showing up in confidence and valuing yourself. But this could be where you are really like at this place where you are on it, you're doing this work, things are shifting, things are changing, and therefore your mind and your day-to-day life is like no longer poop, like you poop or scooped your daily brain, your daily slew of thoughts, a daily like script that's going on. If not, you got to go in and poop or scoop that daily slew of shit storm of thoughts going on. That's really creating a daily life that's not very happy. It's not very fun. That's like been kind of down, been stuck, been feeling trapped. You want to move from that. Many of you, though, are really stepping into your power and no longer settling for a day-to-day life that sucks. You are like really fiercely protecting your joy. You're making, everybody got this card, you know, fill your cup up with sacred giggles. My guides wanted to hammer home to make joy a priority. Keep your frequency high, and know it's not going to be there all the time, but make it a priority. Like, see what's dragging it down. See when your wound's momentum kind of grabs a hold of you and you pop down out of that higher frequency, what's happening there? Like, go through it retroactively to see how you can prevent that in the future and kind of shore that up and heal that. Chiron in the second is all about these wounds of money and lack, and you know, not having what you wanted materially in the world, and not being able to, like, not being valued by others, or not even valuing yourself. And it's just a cleaning up of these wounds. Or maybe you are at a place where you really have healed this and you are seeing the results and the fruit of your labor there. This Neptune in the first is all about possibly being fogged out of knowing what the hell you're even doing anymore, who the hell you even are. Or some of you are going to be really like clear on this meaningful purpose of identity of self, of like who I am, and taking on identities on purpose. I am creator, I am, you know, powerful woman, I am successful entrepreneur, I am healer. And so, you know, wherever you are on that, it's okay to be where you're at, but definitely make sure that you are taking the little steps, you know, to move forward and celebrate. If you've been doing all this work and you've like gotten to breakthrough, like celebrate this, celebrate in some way that is big and honoring and powerful and like celebratory. That's like a party, that's fun. Pluto in this 11th could still be like not having the connections that you want, could still be, you know, Pluto's going to get out of here soon and move into your 12th. And you know, it depends on what Pluto's doing here. I know for me, you know, Pluto has just made it to where since 2008, like very limited friendships at any given time. And it sucks. Like, I have a stacked Gemini energy in my chart. Like, I need to talk to other humans and connect. And like, you know, I could talk to a million strangers, but it's not the deep connection though, right? So, you know, I know for me, Pluto getting the fuck out of my 11th house is going to be amazing. I can't wait. 20 years in the 12th. But you know, it could be really have been like a challenge of really pushing you to grow in relationships with other people, grow and like bringing your gifts to the world. So, you know, it's a challenge. Pluto's about evolution, so it pushes us. It's a challenge, but that challenge brings wealth. It brings a wealth to us that we get to have. All right, Pisces, let's pull you some cards. What cards want to come up for Pisces? So this card came up to rise, and you know, this is talking about like, have you been in victimhood or disempowerment? Or it's saying like, hey, you just leveled up, things culminated, you've like got to this completion point, now it's time to step into it and go. Like, it's time to go. You know what you are capable of, you know what you can do, and you know what you came here to create. Stop playing. And you got inflow with money, And believing in abundance, believing that you can create what you want to create. Like, the thing about money is it's energy, right? And the way we narrate money, the way we think about money, all that shit really matters. And, most people help each other stay in lack because they all churn around on the same shitty money thoughts. Get out of your like shitty money thoughts and start having some good money thoughts. Start having some good beliefs about money. And this is saying, hey, abundance is here. You got this. Don't fret, don't be in the worry, be in the abundance mentality and the abundance belief and the abundance flow, and it will flow and it will keep flowing. So what does your soul say, Pisces? Make sure you're not following your head, make sure you're managing your brain, make sure you're, not indulging in shitty thoughts. We do that in Light Goddess, we do that in my one-on-one coaching. If you don't know how to do that work, make sure you're choosing your thoughts consciously, thinking deliberately, thinking on purpose, thinking thoughts that make you feel good. What is your intuition driving you towards? Like, you've been like, some of you, I'm getting this message, my guides, like some of you have been hearing a message and you've been ignoring it and you've been not listening because it feels scary. I'll tell you, once you take the leap, it will feel fun. So it'll feel fun once you finally do it and get over that resistance pocket. My guides wanted everybody to get this card, that fill your cup up with sacred giggles. It's all about prioritizing joy. Make sure you do that. So important. And that's where we manifest from. It's where we stay in the higher frequency. I'm sending you lots of love, Pisces. If you want to book an astrology reading, you can do that at empoweredwomenrise.com. Make sure you go over there and grab your free Understanding Your Astrology mini course. Everyone, thank you so much. I'll see you on the next bi-monthly update. And make sure to like and subscribe and share, please. I forgot to say that in the early part of the video, damn it. But please get this out there. Please share it with a friend. It really helps the channel grow so that more women can have access to this empowerment. Sending you lots of love. Talk to you next time.